game day.
Welcome everybody to the next episode of Chiefs Focus First and 10, brought to you by Foco Sports, where you can find all licensed sports products. Bobbleheads, anything you want we have, from gear, clothing, makes zero difference, we have it all. We are the second largest retailer out there right now. So many unique items, you will not find it anywhere else. If you go on our website or at the bottom of our screen, click on our link, you can use a 15% discount. Just put in Chiefs Focus 15. With that being said, I'm going to bring on our co-hosts. We got Quentin and we got Caleb. What's up, guys?
Doing pretty good. Glad to see everybody. How are you guys doing?
What a fantastic game. What a fantastic game.
Unbelievable.
Everything you wanted to see, you got out of this game. You had the special teams was fantastic. Everybody from the punt return team, Tommy Townsend, Butker, everything on there was great. The defense played lights out. And I mean, what else can you say about Mahomes, really?
There's not much to say about Mahomes other than he's great. He's Mahomes. He does Mahomes things. They pulled out a couple of trick plays, which I didn't expect them to do in the last game of the season. But, hey, why not? I mean, honestly, it was a score. You know, if it wasn't called back, it would have been a score on that crazy play. So
Yeah, they called it snow globe.
Snow globe.
Yep, snow globe. That's what they decided to roll with.
That's funny. I mean, I don't know, man. They played so well. I mean, Mahomes didn't have all the yardage that he normally has in a game. Didn't have all the touchdowns that he normally has, but I mean, honestly, what does it matter? He well surpassed, his 5,000 yards, 41 touchdowns. You can't really ask for much more out of a quarterback, especially with a brand new offense. I mean, look, this didn't slow us down. We didn't lose a thing by dropping Tyreek or trading Tyreek. We didn't lose anything. I don't know about you guys, but I don't think we lost a thing. All we did was gain.
I'm very happy. Obviously, you're happy with the way the game ended. The Chiefs will get the bye week, which to me is more important than the home playoff games. This team is pretty banged up with just some small injuries, like we saw McCole Hardman and Sky Moore missed today's game. So that bye week, that one extra week to rest while everybody else has to go out there and, play another game is so important for this team. And I just think that winning today was so important to get that. It's how you could guarantee it.
And the Chiefs basically won in every phase of the ball, special teams, offense, defense. And because of that, they're in a prime position. The bye is very important because there's only one bye. And because of the Chiefs get to rest, and we're also going to see it's going to allow for Andy Reid kind of to sit back, study these different teams, look at potential playoff matches. And the Chiefs are going to have some games going, basically have home field advantage in case for a while. So it's going to be a great time to see. Remember, Andy Reid is, what is he, like 21 and
21 and 3.
Something crazy off the bye, like 21-3, 22-3.
Yeah.
I can't wait to see who he's going to come up with. And the Chiefs in our prime spot, we're going to probably get the worst AFC seed coming to Arrowhead, so it's going to be a great time to see what they can do within the next week or so.
Yeah, I agree. I want to say this. Tony is off the charts, insanely good. I don't think people realize how quick he is on his burst, his stop-start factor. Everything he has his cuts are crazy. I think I put it out on Twitter. I said he's the human joystick 2.0 because he makes moves that nobody else other than Dante Hall ever made. And it's pretty crazy to watch him play. To step into this offense so late in the season and be able to pick it up and just play so well. It's just the depth that we have in wide receiver and the wide receiver room is insane.
I'm upset that you didn't at me at that, because I've been saying that for weeks now. That's what, when I saw him, that's what he reminded me of, was Dante Hall, and just how his ability, because it's not just the fact that he catches the ball and is the punt returner for Kansas City. To me, it's deeper than that. It's his ability to move his feet and those little, I don't even think you can call them jukes, but he almost like hops to the side to get guys to avoid him. It's crazy. He's going to bust a big punt return out. I can't tell you when, but I can tell you that at some point while he's wearing a Chiefs uniform, he's going to bust a punt return.
And the crazy thing is that she's got him for basically late third, basically a conditional fourth round pick in a sixth.
Oh, we lost Caleb. Oh, there he is.
Sorry, Wi-Fi probably. I mean, they basically got him for a late third round pick, basically a fourth and a sixth round pick, and because of that, I mean, that's good, especially when you're building a roster. They're in a phenomenal spot, and having guys like Tony's only going to make this offense so much better moving forward.
Man. And we got him for a while. That's the great part. Is he's not.
Yeah,
he's still on his rookie deal too before everything else kicks in.
Yeah, this is only his second season in the league, so we got him for a good at least 2 to 3 more years. So, and I don't think he's going anywhere. Oh, by the way, Frank Clark's groin injury was a pull. Wasn't anything major from what I was told after it happened. So it looks like it's not really going to affect him moving into the playoffs, because we do have that, that week off. So I think he'll be okay. Not that it really, as much as I hate to say this, it really didn't affect us. It didn't really affect us when he came out of the game. I mean, it's always nice to see him in there, and because you know what he's going to do. He's going to cause havoc. But, man, I don't know. Everybody played out of their shoes. Karlaftis getting... And wait, how hard has it been? I want to bring this up really quick, because this has probably been the hardest year we've had on this show of predicting scores.
Yeah, no kidding, man.
I mean, this is like insanely hard to do. And somehow, the last game of the season, I think we were really close. All of us were really close as far as what this, sack total would be and score would be. And I'm just happy that we actually got close on one. It was so, you guys have been closer than I've struck out all year. I was just like, you know what, I'm done. These guys, they're so unpredictable in their scoring. I don't know what they're going to do. But
you just took the go big or go home at this and forget this is what I'm going to go with. I don't care.
Yeah, I mean, I kind of take that Mahomes mentality. Go big, go home. It's not worth it if you don't go big. And, so it's crazy to see Davante Adams get shut down the way he did by mainly all rookies for the most part, no matter how you look at it. I don't know how many yards he actually had, but it wasn't 100. So... I don't know.
He had 5 receptions for 73 yards.
Yeah. And I think he only had, and one of them was a bigger touchdown, but
he didn't get a touchdown.
No, a bigger run, I mean. Or
he had 20, it was a 22-yard catch that he had.
Yeah. Because I know he only had it was less than 20 yards or 25 yards in the first quarter or half of the game. So, I don't know. He was shut down today. And... Again, we saw that. I think there's a lot of issues going on with the Raiders as far as their internal situation right now with the absence of Derek Carr and how he was or benched so quickly, I should say. He's definitely not going to be a Raider next year. I don't know if they're going to stick with this kid. If Josh is planning on bringing somebody else in, there's been rumors about Brady, which I know he's not coming to this division. Why would you ever come to a division that's everybody outside of...
He wants to go to another easy division like he's been the last his whole season, AFC East and NFC East.
Yeah. His whole career has been and when it got hard, he left. So it kind of one of those things, but he's not going to come to... But the one thing that we did find out that came true, Sean Payton is interviewing for the Denver Broncos job. Which there was a lot of speculation that he didn't like Russell Wilson, which he may not, I don't know. But he is interviewing for the job. So it's going to happen in January. I think it was January 23rd, or maybe I think it's the 23rd of this month he's able to interview with the Broncos. So we'll just have to see. But right now, we are AFC champs, AFC West champs, AFC champs. Yes, I understand that it's kind of one of those situations to where you don't really like the way it came down, but I think it would have come down to this weekend anyway. So I don't know. At least we get the playoff games at home until we actually play the AFC. If we get, I'm not going to say if, when we get to the AFC Championship game, that's going to be a neutral site game. It is what it is. So not much you can do about it. Cincinnati was eliminated prior to this game from being able to get the 1 seed. So it came down to us and the Bills. And even if the Bills win tomorrow, they still don't get it because of their shorter schedule. But that's just kind of how it falls. I'm proud of the Chiefs, and I'm proud of the way they came out this year and played with all the rhetoric and talk, and they're not making the playoffs. They're not going to do this. They're not going to do that. They all, the true colors of Mahomes is going to come out. All the things that we heard, none of that mattered. I mean, none of it mattered.
I mean, apparently he was supposed to take a step back without Tyreek Hill. He said he broke the NFL all-purpose record with was like 5,200 yards of everything in total.
Yeah,
it just kind of shows you
yeah.
One player in a certain instance doesn't always make the defense. And to see what Mahomes did on a quote-unquote down year is phenomenal. I'm very happy with the progress we see with this team this year.
You cannot put a price on somebody that good. I don't know what else to say. He's just that good. He's that guy. But today, I mean, he had 1 touchdown. I mean, 1 passing touchdown. And I think it was 201 yards. Which is uncharacteristic of him.
He had 202 yards, his 1 passing touchdown. The running game had 3 rushing touchdowns, which was fantastic. Isaiah Pacheco had his, and it seemed like Andy Reid was determined to give a touchdown to Kadarius Toney after they ran the snow globe play, and then when it got called back, they gave the ball right back to him. So it seemed like the Chiefs were determined to give him his touchdown.
Man, they tried to tear his head off on that play, didn't they? But he still got over that pylon. So
yeah, I think this game is more about the defense than it is about the offense.
Yeah,
I mean, you really saw the defensive line. This was the story about the defensive line and their ability to just cause trouble. They really just, I mean, every single guy. Chris Jones had a hell of a day, 2.5 sacks. And George Karlaftis continued to get back there. He ended the game with a sack. Justin Reed came on that safety blitz, which I predicted in my pregame article that, the Chiefs were going to send someone after him. They were just causing havoc all day in the backfield. And even though not everybody got home, everybody seemed to get back there. Carlos Dunlap had another one of his batted passes. So everybody was getting involved on that defensive line yet again.
Yeah. And he's constantly in the backfield. Carlos is always in the backfield. I don't know that he's not ever in the backfield. It's like he just magically appears back there. It's pretty amazing for somebody at 34, getting ready to be 35 years old, can play that well.
And that's the guy we need in these instances to kind of help the Chiefs in the postseason, because in the last couple of years, Sack's not been there. Now we got some guys to do it. We're in a really, really, really good prime position. Quentin, I want to run back those believe it or not, because I feel like I went 3 for 3 this week, I think.
Hold on. Let me pull it up.
I think I was. JP?
We were all right. We were all right on the sacks, I believe. Because we got, is that 6 sacks?
Yep.
No.
We got
we
like
got
5.5. I got
5.5, but yeah.
Wow, the team got, there's 3, 4. Okay, the team was constantly in the backfield. Wow, that's impressive. So we were over. All of us had the sacks right. We were all he had 200 passing yards. So let's see. You guys were right on the passing yards and on the Devontae Adams. For the score predictions, we were all pretty close on the Chiefs side. We all had them scoring 30, but nobody had them scoring 13.
No, I think my last prediction was
said like 17 or 20.
34-17 or something. So.
Yeah,
somewhere around there. But all I know is that we got our strip sack, and that's what I called for. I said, they're not only going to get their sacks, but they're going to get a strip sack, and they did get it. So I'm pretty happy about that. That's the only game, the only time I've done anything right this year when it comes to calling any of this, and I think we all hit pretty good. So
Yeah.
it was
I said
nice
we all
to see.
we all hit the lottery this time around.
Definitely for sure.
Mike Dana also got 2 sacks today too. So I mean, just everybody, even guys that aren't normal contributors, were getting in the backfield today. So I really do think this game came down to the defensive line and their ability to put pressure on a young quarterback. And when you're facing a young quarterback, that's what you got to do. You got to make sure that you are getting into the backfield because you know that they're not going to be able to read those plays as fast as maybe some of the more experienced quarterbacks. And so if you put them in panic mode, which we saw Stidham was in panic mode a lot today, and that's how you're able to create turnovers. And with we had a couple of forced fumbles. One of them was recovered, and a couple of really good interceptions. Thornhill's interception, that was impressive. He
He's
covered a
on fire.
lot of ground to get that interception.
Yeah, he's on fire.
I mean, he did a good job. Sorry to interrupt you, Jake. He did a good job reading Stidham's eyes. He was able to get to the side of the field, jump ahead of it, and get the ball. I mean, I was very, very pleased. I mean, him and Quinn Cook have done an excellent job in the safety room so far the last few games. So I think the defense is turning right around, especially where we need to be coming towards the playoffs.
I agree. What's up, Russ? What's up, Philip? What do you guys think of this game, man? I mean, was it a good game or was it a good game? Can't really complain. You saw a couple of people, I think they were trolls on Twitter complaining, saying Mahomes needs to learn to step up in the pocket correctly. So I didn't know.
And I tell that to the Raiders fans to learn how to actually beat Mahomes at home for once. Because Mahomes is now 15-0, 16-0.
Yeah.
So he's 15-0 against the Raiders at their house. And he is now beating the Chargers. Basically loses one game to them every other year of that. And then he's 50, and the Broncos haven't beat the Chiefs in 14-15 tries. So I think it's safe to say the Chiefs own the AFC West and all these other fans can just be quiet. They can go away.
That was funny, too, because the one thing that I heard, I don't know, one of the commentators say, it might have been Louis Riddick, he said, I don't know why Tom Brady would want to come into this division when you've got Herbert, who is great, and that is great in the division, and then Mahomes, who owns the division. And that's very true. I mean, there's not a truer statement. Mahomes owns this division, and I don't think anybody can come in and take it away from him. So I don't know who is going to end up with the Raiders next year as far as their starter. It might be Stidham. It might be who knows. Who knows who it'll be. He's been with Josh McDaniels for 4 years, and
because I'm pretty sure Stidham was with the Patriots at one point too. I think.
Yeah, he was. He was with the Patriots, and then when
he's been with McDaniels his entire career because he was there when he got drafted. Yeah. When he was in New England, and they traded for him during the offseason.
Correct. So I think McDaniel sees something in him. Maybe I still think he was a little strategic move to do what he did, and saved his job for another year. Now he's got a quarterback to groom. He brought in one of his guys, so that is going to make Mark Davis so warm and fuzzy, and keep him around. But all I know is that we're 6-0 in the division this year. We haven't been 6-0 in the division in a while,
and that's hard to do.
It's very hard to do.
When you've got you have a streak going up against the Broncos, and you've beat them for the last 7.5 years. You've got the Raiders, where ever since Mahomes has been in the division, you've lost to them once. And the Chargers are the ones that continue to put up big fights against you. But even so, you still own the Chargers during that time frame. This is not an easy thing to accomplish at all.
No, I think in the 5 years that Mahomes has been here, the Chargers have only beaten us twice.
Yeah. Mahomes has lost 3 divisional games his entire starting career.
And I think he's 28-3 now against the AFC West, home and away. So that's a phenomenal record.
And Andy Reid is constantly preaching that, you have to win the division first, and that's what Kansas City does. In order to win the division, it doesn't matter what you do outside the West. You have to focus on inside first. Obviously it's guys with the best record, but if you can get 5 or 6 wins inside the division and walk away with some of those tiebreakers, you're putting yourself in a great position to win your division, and that's a guaranteed playoff spot. And that's what Andy Reid continues to preach, and you hear that coming from all of his players. Travis Kelce, Patrick Mahomes, any of these guys that come up to the podium and are talking about it, they're always talking about how important it is to win the division, and the Kansas City Chiefs continue to excel at that.
Yeah, I agree. I don't know. Our defense has come on so strong over the last really 5-6 games. They steadily got better every week. They had a little bit of a lull here and there, but for the most part, they grew every week. And to watch them play the way they play today, I mean, they even said today we were the worst red zone defense in the league, but yet we stopped the Raiders in the red zone, I think 4 times, maybe 5.
I think so.
Yeah.
They got the turnover on downs, and they got the turnover on downs, and then they held them to a field goal.
Yeah.
And I think
How
the
about
other
McDaniels going for it on 4th and 27?
I mean, that was like a prayer. Let's see what we can do. That's basically what that was.
Honestly, I mean, I really wouldn't have expected it. We went on it, we went for it one time and everybody complained when we went on 3rd and 27. But remember, I think it was last year we did that. And he goes for it on 4th and 27. So I was pretty surprised that he did that. But hey, I mean, when you're down that low and you just need to win. But you know what? This says something about our defensive line and our defense as a whole. So the Raiders put up 34 points on the number 1 defense in the league last week with Stidham. They put up 13 points on our defense this week. So I don't know if the strength of schedule thing that I always talk about has a lot to play, and it plays a huge part in that. I don't. They've been great. I mean, they've given up about 13.5 points a game on average throughout the season, but there's been 3 teams that have put up, 3 teams that have put up more. The Chiefs, the Raiders, and one other team put over 24 on them. So I think we put 30. What we put 34?
44.
44
on the 49ers.
Yeah,
but
that's
put
right.
44.
So, I mean, I don't know. Strength of schedule is a huge thing. That's a true statement. Because I don't know if they're the number 1 defense. I really don't. It may just be the fact that we play them all the time and we know their tendencies, but it seems to me that our defense just played lights out today. And it looks like that's what we're going to see going forward through the playoffs. That's what we were hoping for, was them to come out and just play the best they could possibly play. So
not only did our defense played well in the red zone, like we talked about a little bit earlier, they were 1 for 3 inside the red zone. And like we had talked about a few weeks ago, this at one point was the worst red zone defense for multiple weeks. This was the worst red zone defense in the NFL. And to see them step up and prevent that from happening is great. In the 2019 playoff run, this defense in that year was not good. Up until about the last month of the season is when they started to pick up steam, and they found out, who they were, what they were good at, and they exploded onto the scene. And that's what you hope happens here too. You hope you can repeat that same sort of method by Spagnuolo and the defense, is that you find your groove and you're able to get into it. And I think that there's a real chance that this defensive line pass rush is legit, because you don't end up with 3 games with 6 sacks over the year and multiple 4 and 5 sack games on top of that. And you can't say that that's not a legit pass rush. So, going into this season, I'll call myself out. I thought that the pass rush was going to be the worst part of this defense. I was really worried the fact that they didn't really do anything during the offseason. They brought back a lot of the same guys, and when you have a weakness and you don't really improve the weakness during the offseason, I was worried about it. And damn, did they come out and prove me wrong, because this turned into one of the best pass rush and sack teams in the NFL. Before heading into this week, we were the 4th best team in sacks, and by adding another 6 onto it, I imagine we may move up to the top 2 or 3.
Yeah, I think we're number 2 right now. And I will say this. Getting to your point, they brought back the same guys. They did add a weapon with Carlos Dunlap and things of that nature. But you have to remember, coaching plays a huge part in this. And I think Joe Cullen made a monster difference in the way this defensive line just creates havoc. He's put him in the right position. He's moved people around. I think he's just, everything he's done right. He's just very good at what he does. So And I still, I mean, look, you got Karlaftis, you got Dunlap that have just turned out to be stars. And the one thing I will say about these Spags defense versus any other one, and I've said this before, this is the fastest they've ever taken off. You know, they had a lull, but they took off very quick at the beginning of the season. They were one of the best red zone defenses in the league for like 3 or 4 or 5 games, and they went to the worst. And they had a lull there for a while, but the offense also had a lull in scoring in red zone for a little bit when they were one of the best scoring red zone teams in the league. But regardless, we're still the highest scoring team in the league. We got a defense that actually has been better all year than any defense we've had in the Mahomes era. So,
and another stat to throw out there, I just saw the franchise record for tackles by a single player in Chiefs history was Derek Johnson with 179, and Nick Bolton just broke that today with 180 tackles. Yeah. So he has a record all to himself, and I wouldn't be surprised if that goes up even more. So another stud that Veach was able to find has been very consistent in being able to help the defense. And I like everything that he's been able to do so far.
Yeah, he's Nick Bolton is a freak of nature. I mean, he's just, and I tell you what, Pacheco is a freak. He is now I saw it a few times in the last few weeks. He is following his blockers. He's making breaks. He's finding the open holes, and he's tearing the field apart. The one thing somebody mentioned about Snead slipping on the turf that pulled up, that's common here. So if anybody wants to know, the Raiders didn't chimp out on turf. It's the heat causes that, and it's crazy, but we see it about every 2 to 3 years, whether it be a school, a college. If they've got turf, it needs to be replaced about every 2 to 3 years. I mean, I've seen it to where people are running on it, and it looks like bugs are crawling on them because all the green is all over their legs. It's like they just ran through fresh-cut grass, but it's just turf that's disintegrating under their feet. So it's kind of common for what is going on, but sorry, my dogs are losing their mind for some reason.
They're happy the Chiefs won. It's okay.
That's what it is. But yeah, they're going to have to replace that turf fairly quickly because their own players are going to get injured. It's not just going to be other players, but it's going to be their own. And there was a couple instances where players tripped up on that turf where it was lifting or coming apart.
Especially on kick coverage. You could see guys when they were trying to slow down, it's like they're on ice skates.
Yeah. And that's just, it's the heat. I guarantee you the ground is not, that stadium's not air conditioned during the summer. And they don't roll the turf up and put it in a climate-controlled room. So
they grow it outside.
Yeah,
it's on one of those trays that they bring back into the stadium. They grow it outside.
Yeah, so even with that, it's gonna come apart, and it's just the heat is just too much for it here. You have to constantly keep up on it. It's crazy, but it's just how it is. So I don't know. We'll have to see how they do that next year. But all I know is right now the Chiefs are in a perfect spot, and I hope and pray that Buffalo wins tomorrow. I'd like to see them win that game tomorrow. It's not going to affect us, but
if the Patriots win, then none of this neutral site field stuff matters.
It still matters. If you read I think it still matters. If you read that form that was put out, even if Buffalo loses and they get to the AFC Championship game, it's still on a neutral site. So I'll read it again, but I'm pretty sure that's what I had seen. I looked in there for any spot that said that the only way it would be played, at home would be if, or I was looking for that and I never found it. So I think even if they lose and they get to the AFC Championship game, it's played on a neutral site. And honestly, Cincinnati's the same way. If they get to the AFC Championship game, then it's played on a neutral site. If it's one of those two teams. Now, if it's neither one of those teams, the neutral site thing goes out the window. So it's if they make the AFC Championship game, from what I understand.
Well, regardless, as Andy Reid said, we can play McDonald's parking lot. We'll be okay. So I have faith.
It's only because he can get his burger there.
He get his cheeseburger and be happy. So, although he's slowed way down on those. He's not eating 2 a night. So
I will say this. George Karlaftis is second among NFL rookies in sacks. Yeah. If the NFL did a redraft, that does not happen. He does not end up in Kansas City. It is crazy that we are getting this level of production from a defensive end drafted so late in the first round. Generally speaking, you expect a guy that gets picked late in the first round to just get 2-3 sacks in a year, just because the level of production drops so far off if you aren't picked within the first 10 picks. And so for him to be productive, this early in his career is pretty fantastic. And it once again shows not only how productive that this defense has been in the pass rush, but also Brett Veach and the entire crew in Kansas City that continues to bring talent into onto this roster.
Yeah. I think you could say that about a lot of players that we have on this roster. If you went to redraft about 14, 15 players that are on this roster right now, they may not be with Kansas City.
Oh, yeah, they're easily. I mean, Snead's one of them in the redraft. I think if you look at the draft weekend, he's number 7. You could even make the argument that Willie Gay and Nick Bolton are top 10. I mean, McDuffie as well.
Yeah.
He's got a lot of studs on his defense.
He really does. And not to mention the fact that you got a couple 7th-rounders that are ripping the field apart. So, man, Justin Watson, he looked pretty good today.
Hey, you knew that it was warm outside because he didn't drop a ball.
Yeah, that's true. He's definitely a warm weather guy. But he looked good. Everybody looked good. They all ran their routes well. Mahomes again he spread the ball out. Hey, and we had Saunders, on offense, with his athletic ass running across the field and going into the end zone trying to do the best he could. So I think if Mahomes would have put that ball in the right spot, he'd have caught it.
Yeah, I love a big man touchdown, and it's unfortunate that he didn't get a chance to go up and get the ball, because I'm pretty sure he's more athletic than a lot of wide receivers out there. I'm sure he could have high pointed that ball.
We'll guarantee it. What was it John Madden said in I love a fat man touchdown dance?
Yeah, I wish I could remember it.
Yeah. John Madden. It was great. It was The Replacements. That movie, The Replacements. It was really funny.
But big man touchdown is definitely what you watch the game for.
Yeah, I was kind of wanting one of those Don Terry Poe moments, but we didn't have it. So
yeah, hungry pig, right?
Yeah. But hey, man, all I can say is we're in good shape. We need to continue the momentum and continue to play the way we are. Everybody had us counted out this year. Everybody had us counted out. All the talking heads, and even a lot of the people in the local area had us counted out. But hey, by the way, Caleb, I remember our picks at the beginning of the season.
Okay.
What we were going to end up at.
Okay.
And you won that one.
I did?
Yeah.
What did I say?
You said 14-3. I said 15-2, and you said 14-3.
Okay.
Oh, speaking of picks, JP, would you remind me who finished last in the AFC West? Because I don't remember. If you could remind me.
I had to wait for that one. Yeah. All right. It was the Broncos. I know. I didn't expect it, but I don't know, man. I never dreamed Russell Wilson would be that bad for.
Yeah, we were not expecting that. I'll be honest with you. That was pretty bad.
Yeah. I mean, who would have picked Russell Wilson? I mean, if you took Russell Wilson, Derek Carr, and put him in a basket prior to this season, who would you have grabbed? Russell Wilson. It's pretty simple. I mean, he's got the better resume. He's a more mobile quarterback. And then you see him just crap the bed. I don't know any other way of saying it. But you won that one. I'll give it to you. By 2 games, you won that one. Because I think there was a... Well, we'll find out tomorrow what the final scores will be. Oh, no, wait. Is Denver and the Broncos done, or do they? Broncos
no, they have a game tomorrow, but I'm pretty sure they're going to be dead last.
Yeah, they still have before. They had 2 more losses than the Raiders did.
Yeah.
So it doesn't matter what happens.
Yeah, at this point, you know what? I'm happy to say you won that one, because as long as the Raiders
it feels good.
Does it feel good? Does it? As long as the Raiders and the Broncos are in the bottom of our division, I'm okay with that. It doesn't hurt my feelings. I don't know about you guys, but it doesn't make me feel bad. It kind of makes me feel a little warm and fuzzy. So I don't even. Look, I feel sorry for the Chargers because they only have 6 or 7 fans.
I don't. I don't, because they do the most talking but don't do anything.
Well,
I just don't.
everybody wants to talk them up, and they don't do the nose. I mean, look, man, you got to think about it. They got you got 6 or 7 fans that just have a whole lot of troll accounts because they don't have a huge fan base. They can never fill that stadium up. I mean, most of the time it's Raiders fans and Rams fans that go to their games. So,
Well, it's the Raiders. The Raider stadiums is Arrowhead South, and the Charger
West.
Stadium is is Arrowhead West. So,
well, we deemed Allegiant Arrowhead West last year, and it's stuck pretty well. I think I guess maybe it should be Arrowhead Southwest because they're in the Southwest, but
because of Vegas is more south than LA.
yeah, they're Southwest, so LA is just straight west from when you really think about it. But either way, they both lose to us, and for the foreseeable future, I don't see them getting anywhere near us. So, trivia question. I don't know how many people actually tuned in, but we were going to do a giveaway on a trivia question. What was the question? I forgot now. I'm so excited about the game. We came up with one.
Well, I don't want to say it because it'll give away.
No, I just want to know what the question was. I can't remember the question at this point.
It was.
What's up, Thiz?
I think it was. Go ahead.
I didn't write it down. We're professionals. Don't worry about it.
I think it was which
two.
player since the merger has had touchdowns in 6 straight games or something like that.
Yes. Okay. So what running back has had a touchdown in 6 straight games since the NFL merger? And we'll see let's see who's that. Is the question who's the worst coach in the NFL? Because the answer is Mick Suckles. That's kind of funny. I'm sorry. I don't care who you are. That's funny.
Do we want to get to our MVPs?
Oh, no, it wasn't LT. That was close, though.
We'll let people guess as we go,
yeah, we'll
we
let
go
you
to our
guess
MVPs.
as we go through our MVPs here really quick.
Okay, so we can do what we normally do. Caleb, you start. And do you want to do offense or defensive side first?
Let's do defense first.
Okay. Go ahead, Caleb. Defensive MVP.
I'm going to get my defensive MVP, Chris Jones, CEO of Sack Nation, also CEO of now SWAT Nation. 15 sacks on the season. Should be defensive player of the year. He has set a catalyst, especially in this game against a division opponent, help take care of business.
Is it we're going defense first?
Yes, sir.
I was reading comments. I'm going to give it to Juan Thornhill. Because Juan Thornhill played not just with his interception, but he was on his man. He kept everything in check. I think he did a great job, and I'm going to give it to him. He's fighting for that extension, man, and I want him to be extended. So,
yeah, I think those are both great picks. That interception was so impressive. He covered a lot of ground in order to make that, and he got it, and still ended up in front of the receiver to get that ball off. What if that was a great catch by him? I think that I want to give my MVP. I think I would like to give it to Chris Jones because of the 2.5 sacks, but I don't like to repeat. So I'm going to give mine to Mike Dana. Mike Dana is one of those guys. He's a rotation piece that probably doesn't get enough credit in terms of the fans, just because he's one of the guys. He's just one of the guys. Ended the day with 2 sacks and was helpful in the run game. I mean, Kansas City shut down one of the best running backs in the NFL, and he ended the day with 45 rushing yards on 17 carries. And Mike Dana was a big part of that. He's one of the guys that is just able to constantly step in and to help shut the running game down. And today he made a huge impact on the passing game, getting 2 sacks. And it was just, like I said earlier, it was one of the guys that was just constantly getting into the backfield.
Yeah, I agree. He's very underrated. I mean, he's just an underrated guy. He's one of those guys you don't hear his name a whole lot, but when you do, it's in a positive way. So I think they just, he's just not one of those household names. So I guess that's why a lot of people just ignore the fact that he still plays for us. But he's always out there, and when he is, he's making plays. So he's another one that we need to keep our defensive line intact. I don't care what anyone says. This defensive line is just fine, and we don't need to make any changes. I really don't think we need to make any. If you want to add a little bit of depth, that's okay. But as far as removing anybody off this defensive line, I would say no. Let's keep exactly who we have. Saunders is an animal. Dan is an animal. Of course, Chris Jones. Frank Clark has been in the backfield all season. I think he had 5 or 6 sacks this year, but he was constantly creating pressure. And Carlos Dunlap, man, I can't say enough about that dude. I mean, honestly, I don't get fandom, but that dude just gives me fandom because he just plays so. He's so intelligent, and he plays so hard at his age. You would never know that he's 34 years old unless somebody actually told you. You know, if you just walked up to him and watched him during a game for the first time and didn't know who he was, you'd think he was 24, 25 years old.
Yeah, I think we need to get the SWAT Nation hashtag going, and Carlos Dunlap. We have deemed Carlos Dunlap CEO of SWAT Nation.
Yes, he is SWAT Nation. The guy is bad at a pass down, and I think all but one game he's been in this year. And that's pretty impressive. So, especially when he didn't play that much at the beginning of the season.
I mean the guy was brought in on day 2 of training camp.
Yeah.
He was not. This is not a guy that was brought in, during the offseason. He wasn't a big free agent signed after the first week when the new league year started. This was a guy that was sitting on a couch, was waiting to hear back from somebody. Chiefs brought him in, and he was there from day 2 of training camp on. And it's crazy the impact that somebody like that has had on the Kansas City Chiefs roster.
Yeah. I like that Fizz said Jones and Dunlap are the Bash brothers. I like that because they are. Man, those two guys together are just insanely good. Who said Justin Fields? Okay, let me repeat this question.
I think that was their defensive MVP.
Justin Fields? He plays for...
Oh, I'm sorry. Justin Fields, the quarterback.
I'm going to repeat the question so you guys hear it. So, what running back has had a touchdown in at least 6 straight games during the regular season since the NFL merger? That's the question. I didn't even know this until they said it actually during the game. So, yeah, that's the question. But anyway, offense?
Yeah, Caleb, like you.
I'm going to give it to Tony. Just see what he's able to do. Had X Factor like flashes out there. I mean, just generally, he has done great running routes, getting the ball in the backfield, seeing him in the running back position. He helps open the offense in a whole new way with him being out there, and especially when McColl's not out there. And I feel like that's one of the reasons why the Chiefs will do so well, because you can put him in the slot, you can put him in the X, you can put him in the Y, you can put him in the Z, you can put him in the slot, you can even put him in running back. I mean, anywhere you put him, he's going to be effective, and I think that's just a tribute to his game, especially when we see him scoring that touchdown. I mean, that was a Deebo Samuel-like play, taking the ball out of the backfield like down the jet sweep and cutting up the field and getting a touchdown. We can continue having that in the playoffs, and the Chiefs are going to be in a really, really good spot.
Yeah, I agree. You know what? I'm going to give it to Pacheco. And originally what I was going to do was say I'm going to give it to every single offensive lineman except Andrew Wiley. But I decided to go ahead and give it to Pacheco because Andrew Wiley, again, allowed Mahomes to get sacked. So I think that's number 9 on the season. Out of the sacks that Mahomes has had, 9 of them came directly from Andrew Wiley. So, but I'll go ahead and give it to Pacheco because he has learned how to follow his blockers. He has a little patience. When he does take off, he brings people with him. He carries 3 or 4 guys. He's finding the lanes. He's opening the lanes up. And to me, I think he's just, man, the guy, he's a beast. For somebody that's trading off for the majority of the season until week 7 didn't become a starter, and he's got 830 yards and how many touchdowns? 6? Is that right?
I think so.
Yeah. I have to give it to him. So, but I mean, that's just not. We're not going to give it to Mahomes because Mahomes is Mahomes. So.
Yeah, I mean, for me, it was kind of difficult because not one person had just like a blow out the water game. I think I kind of want to just give it to the offensive line, because they all played, fantastic as a group. We had, I think, for the first time in a while, that run game was really working. The center of our line, unfortunately for Kansas City, the offensive line is a 5-man game and not a 3-man game because our guards and our center combination is just fantastic. And I have Orlando Brown, once again, had a pretty good game. There were times where he was able to recover after he was beat, which is something that early in the year he was not able to do. And to see him continue to improve brings me a lot of hope. I have a feeling that he's coming back next year anyways. So even if you don't like him, you might as well get used to him because I think that he is turning into one of the better left tackles in the NFL, and specifically a tackle that the Chiefs are going to be able to get their hands on. I don't know if there's really any other option out there outside of Brown. So to see him get better, brings me hope that if we can tighten up the right side, the right tackle spot going into next year, that this offensive line will be one of the better offensive lines going into next year, like it was supposed to be this year.
Yeah, they just got to fix that Andrew Wiley situation, and once they fix that, they'll be okay. I think he's the weak, and I've said it all year. He's the weak link on the offensive line. So, and we don't really have a weak link on the defensive line. We just don't have one. They really, and look, no matter how you want to, coin it, our defensive line is the reason why our secondary has been so successful this year. I'm not saying these guys aren't intelligent. They've really picked it up well, but it all starts at the defensive line. So when your linebackers and your secondary they can stay on their man and stay within their assignment, they're going to play a whole lot better than if they have to jump off to cover something the defensive line missed and then the linebackers missed. So I think they're just playing as a unit, and that just is huge. You've got to have a defense like this if you want to win a Super Bowl. With our system, we've won with the 27th ranked defense, 28th or whatever they were when we won the Super Bowl. Our defense was not great, but this defense is way better than any we've had in the Mahomes era, in my opinion. And that's with all the stars that we've had. We've had some pretty big names on the defense. And I love Charvarius Ward, but we're better off. I mean, we are. So, I don't know. Okay, so he said, okay, I love you, Scott, but I have no clue who
Alvin Kamara?
That says Carmen Chuckio. I don't know who that is, but hey, man. All right. No, it's not him. It's, I'm not going to say who it is because they said it during the game, so somebody wasn't paying attention. And I caught it, and I usually can't hear. So that's why I wear these things, because I can't hear anything. That's what happens when you get older. So we got to figure out, somebody hasn't been listening to this game.
Maybe we should let people DM us the answer.
Yeah, we'll give you 24 hours to DM us an answer, and then we'll go from there. So, yeah, Alvin Kamara, his last name starts with a K. So, just helping you out there a little bit. I'm just messing with you, Scott. Don't take offense to it. What else we got, man? I don't know what else we got. This is like a crazy game.
We can't really predict the next game because we don't know who we're going to face. And we don't even know who's going to make all of the AFC until Sunday's over because there's so many weird playoff scenarios. I mean, Pittsburgh is still in the playoff picture.
I'm kind of glad they are, actually. I just want to see, as much as I lost my respect for Tomlin for a little bit when he called Andy Reid a name, and I'm not going to say on here, but it really irritated me, but I think he's a great coach, and I think he deserves to. Scott, finally, my man, you won. All right, we're going to send you out a gift. You're going to have to DM us your information, though. So go on Twitter and DM your address and all that, and we'll send you something out. It's going to come from, we're going to pick something out from Foco Sports and send it to you. So anyway, Yeah, that's who it was. Actually, Jared McKinnon, which I didn't even know that, but that's a pretty crazy stat. I would have thought a running back during that time period would have at least had one touchdown in 6 games straight since 1970. But that was announced on the game. Now I hope they were correct when they announced it, but that's what they announced. I did not.
Yeah,
look
those
it up.
6 receiving touchdowns in a row is a crazy amount. You'd think that there are some pretty, like LaDainian Tomlinson was a good guess because that would have been somebody that I would have guessed. I mean, there have been some crazy talented receiving, running backs to come out over the last just 20 years, not even going back, that far. And to see guys that nobody's done that for 6 straight games is
pretty phenomenal.
Like impressive, but just kind of questionable if you think about it.
It is. It's weird to think about. But back in the day, if you think about it, running backs weren't wide receivers. They didn't come out of the backfield and catch. Their job was to run the ball. Marty would never in a million years consider having a running back come out of the backfield and catch a ball. He didn't even want to throw the ball. I was there.
Yeah. He ran on first, second, third, and fourth down.
I mean, if this guy had 4th and 5, he would take it. So, I mean, put Christian in. Because, he knew Christian he could eat up 5 yards in no time. So, I don't know. It's crazy. It's a crazy stat to think that he's the only running back since the merger to have 5 or 6 receiving touchdowns in 6 straight games, I should say. So that's pretty insane. But yeah, you got it, Scott. So you won. Anyway, the playoff scenario looks a little weird, like Quentin said. I think even Miami's kind of on the outside looking in, aren't they?
Yeah, it's Miami, Pittsburgh. The Patriots can fall out. I think those are the 3 vying for that last playoff spot. I think the Jets are officially eliminated now.
Yeah, they
lost last week.
Yeah, they were eliminated last week.
They are.
They lost. So, let's try to make a prediction of who's going to be the 7th seed.
I'll go off of I think it would probably. I'm gonna go on the limb and say it will be the Patriots. I think they can beat Buffalo and end up getting in. That's my guess. I could be wrong, but that's just my guess.
Okay. What do you got, Quentin?
Yeah, I think for the Bills game, they either come out flat because they've had limited time to play, or the Bills just not only blow the doors off, but they blow the windows out. They knock all the walls down. I mean, it'll just be a bloodbath if the Bills come out firing on all cylinders. But I do think that the Patriots do end up winning that game. So I can't say that, the Patriots don't end up in it if they don't win. So I'm going to go with the Patriots on that one.
Okay.
And just my biggest reason is just that the Patriots had more time to prepare for that game because for up until Thursday, that they hadn't actually been on a practice field. The Bills hadn't been on their practice field up until Thursday. Yeah. So it's just hard for me to say that one team is when you've got, the best practicing coach in all of football with Bill Belichick, and you're going to, tie an arm behind the other team's back. I just don't think that's going to end up well for Buffalo.
Yeah. I mean, I as much as I would normally not root for Buffalo because they are, a team that is tough to beat, I would like to see Buffalo win and advance. But I think you guys are right. I think it's probably going to be the Patriots. I was going to kind of slip Miami in there, but Miami's just on a downhill slide.
Yeah, too much has to go their way, and I don't see that happening.
Yeah, it just doesn't happen. So,
Skylar Thompson's a local kid. He's a undrafted free agent from K-State.
So, Laurel Sage High School.
Yep. So I don't know. We'll have to see how that plays out. We'll know who plays Monday night.
There's no Monday night game.
It's all Sunday.
Oh, is it done? Okay,
yeah,
so
Monday Night Football is for the college championship game.
Okay. Well, then we will find out tomorrow night what actually happens and how it falls.
Yes, sir. We will know before the Sunday night game because that's the Packers and Lions. So we will know after the first round of games are done.
That's right. The Packers have a very slim chance of getting in the playoffs.
All they have to do is beat the Lions.
Yep. So, Um, I think that can happen. I mean, I think they could beat the Lions. Uh, they've been playing pretty well for the last 3 or 4 games, so I don't see why they couldn't. And the Lions went on that skid, so we'll have to see what happens. But great win today. Um, just a performance on all 3 phases of the ball that was just phenomenal. For everybody out there that wanted to fire Dave Tobe last week, get off that kick. Bucker didn't miss a kick today, and he was straight up the middle on every one of them. And this is coming off of a week that he probably wasn't, for all intents and purposes, wasn't going to play because of
Back
back
spasms,
issue.
man.
Yeah, and they brought in Wright and actually elevated him, and then put him on the inactive list because Bucker was able to go out there and do it, and he did it. So, was he 5 for 5 or 6 for 6 today?
Yeah, he got it, including his field goal. He got everything.
Yeah, got everything today. So
5 of 5, 4 for 4 for PATs,
Mhm.
and he made his field goal.
Yep. So no complaints. And I think
And it was a 44-yard field goal. It was no chip shot either.
No. It
Yeah,
wasn't.
we had to really aim for it, and he got it
Yep.
down the middle.
So with that being said, we're really proud of the team. Make sure you guys check out Foco Sports on our website. Check it out at the bottom of our screen. It's on Twitter on our pinned tweet. Go on there. We got 11,000 plus items that you can choose from. Everything you could ever want from any sport, and it's all licensed by every sport, by the way. So check it all out. Make sure you guys get it on the Chiefs Focus 15% discount. Just type in Chiefs Focus 15 under the promo when you go to checkout, and you will get 15% off your purchase. By the way, we do have a special item coming out. I'm not even going to hint at what it is, but we are going to be the exclusive. We're going to have exclusive rights to this item, and that should be out in the next month or two. And when it comes out, we will let you know. But I think everybody that is a Chiefs fan and knows anything about the Chiefs will definitely want this. I'll leave it at that. With that being said, make sure that Scott, you DM us your information. We will send you something from Foco Sports, and then we will talk to you guys again on Sunday. So when are we talking again? Is it Tuesday night, right?
Yep, Tuesday night.
Tuesday night. So we will talk to you then. Appreciate everybody for joining.
See you next time, guys. Thanks for listening.
Enjoy that win.
And make sure you go to Chiefs Focus to read our articles.
Yes. Make sure you do that. Or make sure you go to either Chiefs Focus or Newsbreak directly, or you can go to Yardbarker, our syndicated site. But just don't pick up stuff off of random sites on Facebook because, we had a little issue with that today, and that got handled. Anyway, with that being said, we appreciate everybody joining, and we will talk to you guys again on Tuesday. Peace out, everybody.